Have you ever wondered what happens when you cross someone who values loyalty above all else? What if that person is an INFJ, the rarest and most complex personality type? Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the emotional labyrinth of what happens once you betray an INFJ. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. Whether you're an INFJ yourself, someone who knows one, or just curious about human behavior, this is a story of trust, betrayal, and the aftermath that will leave you thinking twice about taking an INFJ's loyalty for granted. 1. Who are INFJs and why is loyalty their core value? INFJs, often referred to as the advocates or idealists, are known for their deep sense of empathy, intuition, and unwavering commitment to their values. They're the kind of people who will go to great lengths to make others feel understood and supported. But here's the thing, loyalty isn't just a preference for INFJs, it's a non-negotiable pillar of their relationships. For an INFJ, trust is sacred. They don't give it lightly, and once they do, they expect the same level of commitment in return. Betrayal, therefore, isn't just a minor hiccup. It's a seismic event that shakes the very foundation of their world. INFJs are deeply introspective and value authenticity in all their relationships. They believe in the goodness of people, but they also have a strong sense of justice. When someone betrays them, it's not just a personal affront, it's a violation of their core values. 2. The INFJ's initial reaction, a storm beneath the surface. When an INFJ is betrayed, their first reaction might surprise you. They won't scream, throw things, or make a scene. Instead, they'll retreat into themselves, processing the betrayal in silence. This quiet exterior, however, hides a whirlwind of emotions. Imagine a volcano that hasn't erupted yet. The pressure is building, but you can't see it. That's what's happening inside an INFJ's mind. They're analyzing every detail, replaying the events, and trying to understand why it happened. This introspective phase is crucial because it sets the stage for everything that follows. INFJs are natural problem solvers, and their first instinct is to make sense of the situation. They'll ask themselves questions like, was there something I missed? Or could I have prevented this? This phase is often marked by a mix of confusion, hurt, and a desperate need for clarity. 3. The INFJ's inner world, overthinking and emotional turmoil. INFJs are natural overthinkers, and betrayal sends their minds into overdrive. They'll question everything, your intentions, their own judgment, and even the authenticity of the entire relationship. Did I miss the signs? Was I too trusting? How could someone I cared about do this to me? These questions haunt them, and the emotional toll can be exhausting. INFJs feel things deeply, and betrayal cuts like a knife. They might experience a mix of anger, sadness, and disappointment, but they'll rarely show it outwardly. Instead, they'll internalize their emotions, trying to make sense of the chaos in their minds. This overthinking can lead to sleepless nights, loss of appetite, and a general sense of unease. For an INFJ, betrayal isn't just an emotional wound, it's a mental puzzle they feel compelled to solve. 4. The INFJ's decision-making process, cutting ties or giving second chances. Here's where things get interesting. INFJs are known for their compassion and desire to see the good in people. This means they might consider giving you a second chance, but don't mistake this for weakness. If they decide to forgive you, it's not because they've forgotten the betrayal. It's because they believe in growth and redemption. However, this forgiveness comes with conditions. They'll be watching you closely, and any hint of dishonesty will confirm their worst fears. INFJs are incredibly perceptive, and they'll notice even the smallest changes in your behavior. If they sense that you're not genuinely remorseful or that you're likely to betray them again, they'll distance themselves without a second thought. On the other hand, if they decide to cut ties, it's a decision they've thought through meticulously. INFJs don't make rash choices, especially when it comes to relationships. Once they've made up their minds, there's no going back. They'll remove you from their life with a quiet determination, leaving you wondering what went wrong. 5. The INFJ's emotional detachment, building walls. One of the most striking things about INFJs is their ability to detach emotionally. After a betrayal, they'll start building walls to protect themselves. These walls aren't just physical, they're emotional and psychological. You might notice them becoming more distant, less open, and more guarded. This isn't because they've stopped caring. It's because they've learned to prioritize their own well-being. For an INFJ, self-preservation becomes key after a betrayal. They'll start setting boundaries, both with you and with others, to ensure they're not hurt again. These walls can make it difficult for anyone to get close to them, but they're necessary for the INFJ to heal and regain their sense of security. 6. The INFJ's long-term memory, they don't forget. Here's something you need to know. INFJs have an incredible memory, especially when it comes to emotional experiences. They might forgive, but they'll never forget. Years down the line, they'll still remember the details of the betrayal, the words spoken, the actions taken, and the pain they felt. This isn't because they're holding a grudge. It's because the experience becomes a part of their emotional blueprint. It shapes how they view trust and relationships moving forward. INFJs are deeply reflective, and they'll often revisit past experiences to learn from them. This means that the betrayal will always be a part of their story, even if they've moved on. 7. The INFJ's transformation, growth through pain. Betrayal is painful, but it's also a catalyst for growth. INFJs are resilient, and they'll use the experience to become stronger and more self-aware. They might start setting clearer boundaries, being more selective about who they let into their inner circle, and prioritizing their own needs. In a way, betrayal forces them to reevaluate their relationships and focus on what truly matters. INFJs are natural givers, but after a betrayal, they'll learn to balance their generosity with self-care. This transformation isn't easy, but it's necessary for their emotional well-being. 8. The INFJ's relationships post-betrayal. Trust is harder to earn. Once an INFJ has been betrayed, earning their trust again is no easy feat. They'll be more cautious, more skeptical, and less willing to open up. If you're someone who betrayed them, don't expect things to go back to the way they were. INFJs value authenticity, and they'll need to see consistent, genuine effort from you before they even consider trusting you again. Even then, the relationship will never be the same. INFJs are deeply intuitive, and they'll always be aware of the possibility of being hurt again. This means that trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. 9. The INFJ's empathy paradox. Understanding your motives. Despite the pain, INFJs have a unique ability to empathize with others, even those who've hurt them. They'll try to understand your motives and see things from your perspective. This doesn't mean they'll excuse your behavior, but it does mean they'll try to make sense of it. This empathy can be both a strength and a weakness, as it sometimes leads them to give people more chances than they deserve. However, it also allows them to process their emotions in a healthy way, without becoming bitter or resentful. 10. The INFJ's silent revenge. Living their best life? If you're expecting an INFJ to seek revenge, think again. They're not the type to stoop to petty behavior. Instead, their revenge is living their best life without you. They'll focus on their goals, surround themselves with people who truly value them, and thrive in ways that make you realize what you've lost. For an INFJ, success and happiness are the ultimate forms of closure. They'll channel their pain into something positive, whether it's pursuing a passion, helping others, or simply becoming the best version of themselves. 11. The INFJ's final lesson. Betrayal as a teacher. At the end of the day, INFJs see betrayal as a harsh but valuable teacher. It teaches them about the complexities of human nature, the importance of self-respect, and the need to guard their hearts. While the experience is painful, it also reinforces their core values and helps them grow into stronger, more resilient individuals. INFJs are deeply introspective, and they'll use the lessons learned from betrayal to navigate future relationships with greater wisdom and clarity. Conclusion: the aftermath of betraying an INFJ. Betraying an INFJ is like breaking a rare and delicate artifact. It's not something that can be easily fixed. The aftermath is a mix of emotional turmoil, introspection, and transformation. INFJs don't take betrayal lightly, and the consequences can be long-lasting. But here's the silver lining: INFJs are survivors. They'll emerge from the experience wiser, stronger, and more self-aware. And while they might not forget what happened, they'll use it as a stepping stone to build a better, more authentic life. So, if you're lucky enough to have an INFJ in your life, cherish their loyalty. Because once it's gone, it's not something you can easily get back.